looking for a job in 2025, here are some things that you should be doing right now. One, the biggest thing with your resume is one, figure out the format. There's certain formats for certain positions and certain places that you're at in your career. Someone who's 10 years in the game, their resume is going to be structured differently from somebody who is brand new. Somebody who's going into more creative positions versus professional positions, your structure of how your resume is going to look is going to be different. The second biggest takeaway is we end up listing our job description under our positions, and that's not what you're supposed to do. Think accomplishments, not task. And think McDaniels, Letitia McDaniels. She gave me that tip. Like, that is the biggest tip that I'm going to like keep passing on to other people. So that's your resume. Two, not only do you need a cover letter, you also need physical copies of your recommendations. Recommendations are back. And a lot of people do not think about recommendations, but we need to be bringing back our recommendations. You need digital copies, and you need physical copies. That will make you stand out tremendously. Number three, your LinkedIn. The first thing these people do is search for you on LinkedIn. That is the first thing that people are doing. And they're cross-checking what you're putting on your resume with what you're putting on your LinkedIn. And the number one thing that they're looking for is the time, because for job positions, they want somebody with X amount of years of experience. So if you lie and you say that you did a certain role for a certain amount of time, but then they look on your LinkedIn and it's a little bit different, you're going to look like a liar. So you want to make sure that your resume is in alignment with your LinkedIn. I will also push it a step further and say, put content out on LinkedIn. My clients come from my content. I showcase some of the things that I can do, and they're like, can you do that for me? And I'm like, if you pay me, I'll do it for you. So push out content, because nowadays it's easier to be hired as a contractor than it is to be hired as a full-time employee. Way easier, because it's way cheaper for companies to hire a contractor versus hiring a full-time employee. And then I'm either on number 4 or number 5. I don't know. I can't remember. I'll count it later. But the last thing that you want to think about is how you are applying for these jobs. I did a video not too long ago that talked about where employers, I always mix them up, where employers are looking when they want to fill a role. And they are looking at their internal pipelines, they're looking at internal referrals, they're looking at their internal talent pool, and then they're looking at their partners, because there's a lot of organizations that partner with employers that also trains people specifically for the roles that employers are looking for. So they're looking internally, they're looking at referrals, they're looking at the talent pool that they have, they're looking at people who want to get promoted, and then they're looking at their partners. So the training programs that are out there, they're looking to fill that role through the training partners that they have. And then they go out. Well, not even just training partners. They're looking at training partners. They're looking at career development centers. They're looking at colleges. They're looking at other places that they have connections to get that position filled. And then they go out to the public. They do all of that before they look at, okay, well, who's external that we could bring in. So what I would do, find one of those partners. If you went to college, see if they have college fairs coming up. If you went to a training program, see who they're connected with. If you ain't in any of these spaces, get in some of these spaces. I would do, like, if you live in a certain neighborhood, or not a certain neighborhood, if you live in a neighborhood that has career development centers or workforce centers, go in, say, hey, I'm looking for a job, and they will literally take you through. Even if they ain't got nothing available, get in their system, because then they'll start emailing you opportunities and you can start applying for those opportunities. I would do that. And I would look at my friends and be like, hey, friends that work for companies, are y'all hiring? LinkedIn is great for this. Like, you want to work for a company, look at your connections and literally go old school. Hey, can I take you out for coffee? Like, literally do that. Because the regular way of just turning in an application through a link, it's not going to cut it anymore. It's not going to cut it because 9 times out of 10, one, it might be a spam job. Two, well, not 9 times out of 10, like maybe 2 times out of 10, it might be a spam job. Also, a tactic that employers use is sometimes they're recruiting for a position that they're not even hiring for. It's to build up that talent pool that they have. Like, it literally just happened to me not too long ago, where they hit me up about a position that's not even ready yet. They're like, okay, when we're ready, we'll circle back around. I'm like, okay. But yeah, like, there's different tactics that employers use to get people to apply for positions, and they're not even like looking through the applicants. So you got to be very strategic when it comes to getting employed. So hopefully this helps. If you have any questions, feel free to comment, DM, email. You can find me at ehimuema.com, geekempowered.substack.com, and now you can find me on ChaChing social. Our community is Career Launchpad for Independent Professionals. I had to remember the name. I couldn't remember the name, but that was the name. So you can find me on ChaChing social. You can find me on Substack, TikTok, LinkedIn. So let's connect. All right. Bye.